So everybody jump on the D drive and make a new folder with your name on it. And
Let's save it there.
and then within that folder, what's this thing called? Scarab?
Scarab. Yeah.
Make a new folder called Scarab. And then first and foremost, save this model
That one.
that we downloaded online to save your scene in Maya to that directory.
Zoom out.
You can just call the file Scarab. So let's start there. That'll be a good
Save
place to
this as
start.
A regular Maya binary.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So the difference between Maya ASCII and Maya binary is that a Maya ASCII file we can actually open up and read all the stuff that's in it. A binary, like, I don't even, what's the word for that, Micah?
What?
That where it takes like text, the programming text, and like convolutes it, kind of.
Compiles it?
It's not compiles. It's
Oh, encryption?
yeah, it's kind of like
Encodes it, something like that?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. All right. So the first thing we need to do when we download model files from online is just look at what the heck objects are in the scene. So let's open up, go to Windows, General Editors, Hypergraph Hierarchy. Windows, General Editors, Hypergraph Hierarchy. Windows up at the top. If you look up at the projector, if I ever go to a menu, what I do is on the projector, I'll just sit here like this for a second so you guys can see where it's at. Because I know sometimes it's hard to hear me when I speak, because I speak very loud and clear. Just looking at all the models in here, it looks like everything's pretty much laid out pretty well. There's no weird parenting or hierarchy or anything. It's all just kind of single model files, which is great. So we don't really have to worry about anything. So you can close the hypergraph hierarchy. One of the things that I noticed right away about this is that it's off-center. And whenever you're rigging a file or a thing like this, what you want to do is make sure that it's centered. Okay? And so the first thing I like to do when I'm centering an object is to select all of the objects and group them. Group is Control G, or you can go to Edit Group. Okay, but Control G is pretty easy. So just drag a box over all those objects. Make sure when you select them, you're in object mode. To go into object mode, you can just right-click anywhere on the object and go to object. Right-click and hold, and go to object mode. It should be in object mode by default. Drag a box and select all the objects, and then Control G. Alright, and you'll see when you group something, and if you hit W, it automatically centers the group to the center of the grid. So now I can move this whole unit around. If you tap W on your keyboard with the group selected, you can move the whole unit around, and it starts, the pivot point of the group is at the center of the grid. Is everybody in here familiar with Maya controls? We've been doing Maya in here for a little while, right? Hold Alt on your keyboard and use all three mouse buttons to rotate, move, and zoom in and out. Mouse wheel zooms in and out. Okay. Right, so if you ever click off of your object here and you want to select the group, a quick way to do that is just to select any object within the group and tap up arrow on your keyboard, and it'll move up the hierarchy and select the group. So that's a quick way to select your group. You just click an object, tap up on your keyboard, the up arrow, and it'll select the group.
I wish you would have told me that thing in future projects.
You know what? There's so many. Maya is like Unreal in regards to depth. There's so much to it. So many little quick keys and stuff that they add. I can't even.
Probably more so than
Yeah, I could have used
Yeah, it's probably bigger than Unreal, to be honest with you. Unreal's, Unreal 4 is actually rather new compared to mine. Mine's been around for a while. All right, so tap your space bar, and let's go into the
Front view.
Yeah, sure, front view. Let's go into the front view, and as you can see, it is off center. So what we're going to do is tap 4 on your keyboard. By the way, to switch different views, you just tap your space bar, and then you click in the view you want, and then tap it again, space bar again, and you'll go into that view. So select another object, tap up to select the group, and then tap 4 on your keyboard to go into wireframe. Okay. Now, if you look, there is a line down the center of this object. Cheers to the modeler, because this thing actually looks pretty symmetrical, which is awesome. That's going to be great for mirroring joints and mirroring skin weights, so we don't have to do everything twice. What I mean is different sides. So what we need to do is we need to move this guy to the left or right, depending on which view you're looking in, so that the center of him is along the center of the big black line down the center of the grid. Okay, so you can just select the group and then tap W to move it, and then just move the guy over to where the center of the guy is along the grid. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys a trick. As you can see, like, I have to zoom way out to see this guy to move it, and then when I zoom in, it's not like, if I zoom way in, it's off. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a trick. So everybody look up here real quick. Y'all look up here, please. So I have the group selected, so I'm gonna zoom way in to the center here, and as you can see, it's off. If I'm zoomed way in, I have move down here. It's already in move mode, right? So if I zoom way in, if you're zoomed way in, if you hold shift and then middle mouse drag, it will move along an axis. Okay, so if you're zoomed way in and hold shift and middle mouse drag and hold shift, it will move along one axis. It will use the move tool and move along one axis. So you can zoom way in and make sure that this thing is super duper centered. And when you get this zoomed in, this is like so zoomed in that like it's so centered that your eye wouldn't really even notice. If that makes sense. So once you center it, you can space bar back out to the actually we need to go to a kind of a side view, and then we need to move this guy more centered in the side view, and we need to place his little walker claws on the floor, because right now his little walker claws are going through the floor. Okay, so again, you can do the same thing when you're in a side view here. Zoom way into the feet and see how they're going through the floor. You can hold shift, middle mouse drag, and this time you can drag up and just make sure those are placed on the floor, not through the floor. So this is how I centered it. There's not really any like specific way to center it from the side view. Just make sure that he's kind of somewhat semi-centered, and the feet are through the floor, or not through the floor.
Yeah, make sure you center.
Everybody good? All right. So the next thing we need to do is kind of measure this thing, because this, I don't even know how big this is. So I'm just going to, I don't want you guys to do it. I'm just going to measure it real quick. So I'm going to go to Windows, Settings and Preferences, and I'll go to Settings, and this is in centimeters. So I'm going to, this thing is supposed to be massive, so I'm going to put it in meters. Actually, I'll put it in feet, so my brain can understand that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 feet tall. Okay, so right now, from what I know from the video, a human can stand like on this platform right here. So this thing is like not, this thing is supposed to be like way, way bigger than this.
Correct.
So in order to scale this up, what I would do is I would select the group, and I've already centered it, and since I've centered it, that group pivot point is off center. So what we need to do is we need to keep the guy in the location that he's at, but we need to move this pivot point back to the center of the grid so that when we scale it up, it's going to keep its location but scale from the center of the grid. So in order to do that, you click with the group selected like this, click W to move, and then tap the insert button on your keyboard, and insert button is above the DEL key on your keyboard. So if you look where the delete key is on your keyboard, it's the DEL key, or it's the INS key. And when you click it, it's going to allow you to move the pivot point of the group and not move the object. And what you can do is, as you move that pivot point, if you hold V on your keyboard, you can snap it to, X, you can snap it to grid points. So we're moving the pivot point of the group and holding X to snap it to grid points, and we want to snap that pivot point to the center of the grid like this. Okay, so again, I'll do that one more time, and when you're done, tap insert again, and it sets the pivot now. So again, so you click the object, tap up arrow to select the entire group. Okay, then you tap the INS key, which allows you to move the pivot, and you hold X while you move the pivot and let it snap to the center of the grid. Then tap INS again to set the pivot. Anybody need any help with that?
Could you not just zero it out, or is that going to zero out the object?
The problem is there's a tool in Maya where you can go to modify center pivot. But what that's going to do is it takes all the objects into consideration and finds a center point for all the objects. So it would just like find some center point. We want this to be at the center of the grid, so when we scale it, it scales like proportionally from the center of the grid, and its feet will stay where they're at, and yeah, its location that we put them in. I just found some other tool here in Maya called Bake Pivot. I don't know what that does. I don't know if I want to know what that does. Yeah, no idea. That's weird. So we need to scale this thing up, make it big. So yeah.
Oh god.
I don't even know.
It won't let me turn.
You said it was 8 feet to begin with, right?
It was 8 feet to begin with, and it needs to be one human needs to be able to fit in the little platform here, which is probably, that platform is, it's about It's about a foot.
The size of that window is...
So, all right, Micah, here's some math for you, right? You're the math guru. If this guy is about 8 feet tall and his platform is about a foot, and one guy who is 6 feet needs to fit in that platform, how much do we need to scale this thing in order for...
Well,
Should it be by 6 then?
by 6, but I would give it some extra so that you can stand in it. So at least 7.
7 or 8?
So we would need to scale this thing
Unfortunately, at least 7 or 8 times.
at least 7 or 8 times. So, okay. So it's 8 feet. So what 7 times 8?
56 or 64. Right?
So let's scale it up 64 in all 3 axes, X, Y, Z.
No.
Is that too massive?
No, it would just be 8 in the scale
What? Oh.
thing. Is multiplying, right?
Let's find out. So all we have to do is zoom into the platform and count how tall that platform is. I guess. Looks like it. I don't know. Let's just go with that. 8. Fine. So in X, Y, and Z, select the group and then just put in 8. And let's just call it a day. Let's say we did the right math.
My render distance is pretty short.
Yeah.
Right, so I can show you how to fix that. So sometimes when you're dealing with like massive creatures like this, the render distance gets all jacked up when you zoom out like this. This is very easy to fix. You need to select the camera. So if you go up to View, select Camera. View, select Camera. And again, whenever I go to a certain menu, I hold it up here for a little while so you can see where I'm at. And then on the right hand side,
Focus distance?
no, if you hit Control A with the camera selected, there's another option in there called, you have a near clip plane and a far clip plane. The near clip plane is a setting for how close you can get to it. The far clip plane is how far away you can get to it where you can still see it. So I'll just set that. Right now the far clip plane is set to 328 or something. If you just set that to 1,000, you should be able to not have any problems.
That's weird.
Did that fix it?
No, because my far clip plane is 2,000.
Yeah, mine's 10,000. Yeah.
All right, fam. Oh, actually, sorry. It's the opposite of what I just told you. I'm dumb. The far clip plane is for up close, and the near clip plane apparently is for afar. So
What?
if you change your near clip plane to like 1,
That makes no sense.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. It is what it is. Whatever. We got it working.
All right.
Like literally, that's how you have to be in 3D and development. It's like, okay, that's the setting. Whatever. I need to move on. Next problem.
Dang, this thing is don't work on. How do you fix the render?
So I'll do that again. So Micah having the problem where he zoomed out and the thing was looking all crappy. So you go up to View, select Camera. View, select Camera. Then hit Control A. And there's a setting in there called Near Clip Plane. Change that from 0.000 whatever to 1.
30,000? Oh, it looks even more shittier, but...
Try changing this to 1.
Yeah, so if you change the near clip, I changed my near clip plane to 1 and my far clip plane to 1,000. Another thing is I've set this in feet, so
that's why.
that may have something to do with it. So go to Windows, Settings and Preferences, Preferences. Windows, Settings and Preferences, Preferences. and then click on settings in the very center on the right and change your linear working units to feet.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, so if you change your linear working units to feet, and then again, change your near clip plane to 1 and your far clip plane to 1,000, you can zoom way out and you can zoom way in. You shouldn't have any problems. All right. All right, let's go ahead and save our scenes here. So just Control S or File Save. Okay. And let's go ahead and start laying out some joints.
Okay.
God.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. All right. So when you look at this, and you're like, oh my God, lay out some joints. The first thing I think of is, oh my God, this is gonna be insanity. But the best thing to do is just when you're taking on any crazy task, is just put one foot in front of the other. Don't get too overwhelmed, right? So let's start by placing one joint. Okay. Let's start by placing one joint. And the first joint we're gonna place is gonna be at the center of the grid. Okay. So click on the rigging tab. Double click your joint tool, and there's a setting in there called variable bone radius settings, and we need to turn that off. What that setting does is, for whatever reason, it decides to create bones that are different sizes whenever you're doing stuff, and we don't want that. We want the same size joint throughout the whole deal. So turn that off, then turn off your tool, and you should have a little crosshair, and just come way down to the center of the grid, hold X to snap to the grid, create a joint, and hit enter.
Small ass joint.
Yeah, it's tiny. So create a joint at the center of the grid and then hit enter to create the joint. All right. Now, first thing we're going to do is we are going to name this joint. Is joint 1. We're going to call it root. So off in the upper right hand side, call it root. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we need to make these joints a little bit bigger, because that is way, way, way too small. So go up to Display Animation Joint Size. Display Animation Joint Size.
Wow. Maybe
Nice.
10 is still tiny.
So probably set that to 10, as big as we can go. And that's probably pretty good. You can set it bigger than that, but 10's probably all right. If you need it bigger, make it bigger. Do whatever you need to do.
It's fine. So I can
All right. And I'm actually going to make my joints a little bit bigger just so you guys can see them up on the projector. So I'll change mine to like 100. No, it's too big.
50.
50.
50. 350?
50.
150.
Let's go with 50.
Z boost 350.
Alright, so I'm going to duplicate my joint, and I'm going to move it
How you duplicate again?
to the center of this. You duplicate by selecting your joint and clicking Control D. Control D. And I want to find the center of this thing, this center piece here. So I'm just going to go to Modify Center Pivot. Oh, that didn't work. Wow. That was It did not work at all. That is not the center. That was a supreme fail.
I noticed that the turret's not centered as well.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Alright, so there's a center point on the bottom of this polygon here. If you hold V, you can snap to polygon pieces.
So weird.
One of the things we definitely want to do is turn on wireframe on shaded like this while we work. So if you go to shading and there's a little checkbox called wireframe on shaded, that's going to help you when you're in flat shaded mode. And again, if you tap 4, 5, and 6 on your keyboard, that changes between wireframe, flat shaded, and textured. Okay, but if you go to shading and turn on wireframe on shaded, it allows you to, as you can see, at the bottom here, I've snapped. If you hold V when you're moving joints, you can snap them to points on a polygon. X is to snap to grid, V is to snap to points on a polygon. Okay, as you can see here, there's a point at the bottom of this thing, and I just snapped my next joint that I duplicated to that right here. Alright, and this one we're going to call, I don't even know, we'll just call this base. Call this joint base. Alright, now the next joint we're going to need is one for the turret. So go ahead and duplicate the base joint. And then move a joint up to the turret. And when you're moving these joints, you don't want to move. The move tool has a green arrow, a yellow arrow, and a red arrow. Red is the X view, and you don't want to move in X. You want to keep, right now everything is aligned with the root and the base. You don't want to move it in X. You just want to move it in Y, and yellow is Z. So we just want everything aligned straight up and down here. So don't move it in X. Remember, Control Z on your keyboard is your friend. That is undo. Now I'm going to show you guys a trick here. I want to snap this turret, snap this turret joint to something on this turret to kind of make it centered. So guys, look up here real quick. Let me show you something. So I moved my turret joint kind of over near it, and since the base of the turret is covered by this like thing that's holding it, I can shift select the turret and the joint, and I can go to show, isolate, select, view selected, and it isolates everything but the turret and the joint, and then I can find something to snap this turret to. And unfortunately, the modeler has not given us anything solid. Actually, he has this little cannon thing here, so I can V-snap to the point on that center of the cannon thing, and I'm just going to move it to kind of something centered like that. And then I can go to show, isolate, select, view selected, and now I'm back.
So Chris,
Yeah,
I lost my joint. How do I find it?
you lost your
Oh,
joint.
never mind. It's working.
That man's going crazy. I can't turn it on.
You guys just want to put that joint in the center of the turret, as centered as you can find it. And there's, if you zoom in, like, there's the base of the turret has a base. And if you zoom in, if you just try and put that joint at the center of the turret base, that's probably a good place to put it. And you guys, this is, if you guys, I hid the, or I did isolate select, view selected, by going to show, isolate select, view selected on the base model here. And as you can see, I just stuck the turret joint here. You guys see where I put it? At the center of the base here. And then you can bring everything back by going to show, isolate select, view selected. So how many joints do we have now? Just 3?
Progress.
Yeah, man.
So we put them at the top of the base.
All right. So that's a good place to start. I think that's about it for the main parts. Let's go ahead and...
Call the joint turret or whatever.
What's that?
Name the joint like turret or something.
Yeah, name the joint turret. That's a good Raphael. What would I do without you? Is turret 2 T's or 1 T?
It's
T-U-R-R-E-T?
I think it's 2 R's and then it's 1 T.
Yeah, 2 R's and 1 T. Nice. Nice.
Technically 2 G's, just one at the beginning of it.
Nice. All right. So... Ugh. Alright, I'm trying to figure out... Alright, so this thing has like joints... Ugh, I don't even know.
I think that small one right there where it connects the legs, I think there might be 2 joints.
Oh, you know what? This is what we're going to do.
Because you're in...
We're just going to choose one way and just be consistent.
Just turn it to bottom line, yeah.
Alright, guys, look up here. This thing has... We're going to build out the legs on one side and mirror them over. Alright, that's the game plan here. And what we want to do is duplicate some joints. See the 2 objects I have selected here? What we're going to do is in the center of, not the objects themselves, but kind of the bulbs, that's where we're going to stick the joints, the new joints, okay? See, y'all seeing what I'm seeing here?
Yep.
Duplicate some joints and stick them in the center of these bulbs. And then do the same thing for the knees. The top of the knees have bulbs too.
Thank you.
Okay? You're going to stick joints in the center of those knees. See what I'm talking about right here? These bulbs. And then there's hinges on the feet. There's one here. And then another one here. So go ahead and build out the legs by putting joints in the bulbs and the hinges, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Or am I speaking in a language that is not understood? Anybody lost?
Say it again, fam?
No, I got you.
But just one side, right?
Huh? Yeah. It's probably better that we just do one leg at a time, to be honest. Let's just build out one leg. Just build out one leg. So duplicate any joint and then move it to the bulbs and just keep duplicating it. And remember, you can use that isolate select tool. That is super handy. You select one thing that you want to center a joint in, and then select the joint, and then go to Show, Isolate, Select, View Selected, and it allows you just to isolate one part while you move the joint into place. And you can hold V and snap joints to parts of the polygon. And then you can use those as kind of like measuring tools. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, there's good and there's good enough. We are going for good enough here.
Should there be a joint where legs connect to the base, or just where?
Right. Good
Does that make
question.
sense?
So look up here for a second. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because it might look a little mechanical.
Another joint, like right where the thing connects onto the body.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Do it.
So a joint right next to the.
So yeah, so one of the things about being a rigger is it's like when you're rigging stuff like this, yes, you can go back and add joints later, but it's better to, there's a saying, it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. Y'all heard that saying before?
I agree.
Great saying to live by. So it's better to add stuff now and to work with it going forward than it is to be like, oh crap, I need that later, right? Luckily, Maya has tons of tools for that. But, yeah. So if you guys don't know what we just decided here, so I have a joint in the center of this bulb here. I'm just going to duplicate this joint and move it to the base. You talking about this thing?
The one that you duplicated it from.
The one that I duplicated it from?
Yes.
What about it?
It's supposed to be on the tip right at the middle.
Middle. Man. Man. This is brutal. I mean, the reality is just try and get these things as centered as you can.
I'm actually enjoying this.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this. This is no pain at all.
Dude, I'm having fun.
Alright, fam. Raphael likes to work. You're a good worker, Raphael.
I try.
Got all your joints placed?
So far, you should have like 3 groups on the leg
I
today.
don't know why I'm
Well, I
taking
don't
going so
know.
slow here.
Total of 6.
Yes. Yeah, it looked right.
Brutal. This modeler was like, she really doesn't give us anything to really snap our joints to. Especially when we're trying to like center something. Like, why did we have to do this polygon not centered? Like, thanks, bro. You made my life easy. Yeah.
I'm just throwing them on there.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Like,
It
I'm
is-
just eyeballing it.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're not trying to, you know.
It's not like we're making a AAA game.
Exactly.
Oh, that
Or
attitude.
Lord of the Rings.
I don't know, I'm trying to scare him. Where'd you put your door?
Man, some of the Maya stuff, when they did like the original Lord of the Rings.
Oh, right here.
You guys ever heard of Weta?
Right here,
Yeah,
I've heard of it, but I've never actually understood what
It's a studio in New Zealand,
and like one
and man, those guys did like all the Maya stuff for Lord of the Rings. Their stuff was just like
On the patience.
insane. Like those guys are just scary good. Actually, one of our visual effects artist professors worked at Weta. He's no longer here. Worked on The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
That's right, fam. All right. When you're done, you can parent these joints to each other by selecting the top joint and the the next one down, and then tapping P on your keyboard. Oh, yeah. This modeler just he didn't even give us like a joint tip, a tip of the claw here. He just didn't give us anything. He wants us to do all the work ourselves.
Wait, so why do you put a joint at the very tip?
Because, so watch this. This is the reason why I put a joint at the tip like that. So, see how this joint is like oriented weird? Like, it's not oriented to the claw.
Uh-huh.
When I select this and then shift select this one and tap P, watch this joint's orientation. See the way it's facing now?
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. What the? It should be facing down the chain. Let me keep doing this. Okay, well, when I orient that joint, there's a tool in here called Skeleton Orient Joint. When we parent all of our stuff, it should make it to where that rotate will
Auto-oriented?
it'll orient to where I can rotate the direction of the claw. Right now it's not doing it, as you can see, but it'll figure it out.
Okay.
We just haven't gotten there yet. But it needs that other joint to point at so it knows which direction to orient, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So go ahead and start parenting your stuff. You want the base parented to the root, the turret parented to the base, and the first leg parented all the way up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up at the projector. Parent is just one button. It's P. Okay? So it should look like this. Ugh.
So do you not want a joint for the flat part of the foot?
Oh yeah, that thing. Oh crap, I screwed up.
Join where?
To the flat.
Yeah, make one for the flap.
Oh yeah, that flap moves. It goes like that.
Yeah.
What, his toes?
The flap, you know.
What, the thing on his foot?
Yeah, the flap on his foot.
Oh, I see it.
It moves when he walks.
It does. Which is like so not.
Cool.
It's just like what? Like what is that? Like what's the point? What's the purpose?
Looks cool, fam.
It's protection for the foot.
Really though?
Yeah, you shoot
Like-
RPGs at it. That's how you.
Like I guess.
That's how you knock it down.
Chris isn't a real gamer like us, fam.
It's not
Yeah.
that, dude. It's just that
He's not a gamer.
I feel like when you make something, like there should be like a purpose for it.
There is a
especially-
purpose.
What's the purpose?
We'll
To
figure it
protect
out.
the legs.
To protect the legs.
Is in the game you shoot those flaps in order to knock it down.
Alright, fam.
Yeah. Halo
Really?
Man. At your service.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fine knocking it down.
Alright. That happened.
Oh, did I? What?
I don't know, I'm just doing this.
Just, I know. I was like, wow, I've never done that before.
Never done what?
Adding bones. It's like
This is brutal.
it's fun. It's cool. Well, you might think it's brutal.
We
but
haven't
it's-
done this before in class?
We have, but it was on a basic Jack in the Box, where you go straight up.
A basic Jack in the Box.
Yeah, you remember?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Alright.
All we did was at the spine and the arm. That's it. With this, we're adding all this bull crap.
Yeah, this is brutal.
Yeah, it's fun.
We're just on one leg here. That's, you know.
The crowd kind of makes me think about you guys.
Tell him, Maria.
Yeah.
Sounds actually fun.
Oh my lord. Oh, I should put Jones right here. I should know. What should I use?
I would name the joint besides joint.
Leg.
You need to include like leg and then also which leg. Back leg.
So
Or you can abbreviate that. So you can be like leg. Or like,
LB,
actually, right.
LF, RB, RF.
Base.
Yeah, go ahead and name your joints too.
Leg base PL. Back leg. I didn't
Micah,
get that.
Micah, what are y'all talking about over here? Why don't y'all say it so everybody can hear it? What do y'all decide to name your legs?
I did. Well, I did the back left leg. So I did leg base BL for the connector to the base. And then leg BL, leg lower BL, leg foot BL, foot BL, and foot tip BL. And then claw. Claw BL. I don't know if it's claw or not, but what's the what? The flap.
The flap. I call it the flap.
Go flap.
I call it the flap.
Nice.
Very.
So I would do all lowercase first of all. So it's all the same. I would name it like leg base, since it's not really the leg, it's
Leg base. F.
whatever your
Sure, that's it. That's good. And then that would be leg 1.
yeah, you could do it like that.
And then FL. Right. And then leg 2, leg 3, except for except for the flap.
All right, everybody got at least one leg done.
Just gotta connect the joint and I'll get it.
Click this.
All right, connect your joints so it looks like this, so we can orient them.
Make sure that
Save your scene. Everybody file save. Save that scene. Save often, early and often.
I call this one foot. Foot left. Foot. FL. And this is called the flap. Flap. FL. Oh, the flap.
I'm kidding.
Da.
I'm kidding.
Flap. The flap. I just call it flap. I don't want to confuse myself.
Yeah, yeah.
FL. That's cool.
Go ahead and do the back leg.
It is a
I
lesson.
just duplicated the whole freaking chain.
You did.
Oh, nice. So yeah, you just move it. Well, actually, you really can't do that for the
yeah.
for the
Oh,
hinds because it's larger.
I think it should be.
Right. Also have to move
There
each
you go.
You can mirror it for the other side.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot how to mirror
Where's-
stuff.
You got. You got to go like this.
Yeah,
where
just
if it's a
you-
20,
you lose
then
everything.
like this.
Anybody need any help?
Are we supposed to do one leg or 2 legs? Is that
Just,
2 legs?
I mean, if you're waiting, do the other leg. If you see how I did this leg, if you guys, your legs look like mine, do the other leg. We got, I'm going to go over each part here. So we got 2 down in this little joint. We got 1 in the knee, 1 in the other knee, and then a flap, and then 1 comes down to the claw and the tip of the claw. That's it. So if you already got that built out the other leg. But we're going to mirror the legs over, so there's no need to build all 4 legs. Just build 2 on one side. Okay? But make sure you got them all parented. Has everybody got them parented like this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, if you haven't parented, guys, look up here. We need to do what's called orienting them. Okay? I'm going to show you guys how to orient these real quick. This is a very, very important step. Okay? So, what I want you to do, there's 2 parts to orienting, okay? The first thing that we're going to do is select the root joint. Change your drop down in the top left to rigging.
Which joint do we grab? The root?
The root. Grab the root. And change the drop down in the upper left to rigging. Then go to skeleton and the option box for orient joint. Skeleton, the option box for orient joint. Okay. Now, in the orient joint settings, I'm going to show you what this does, okay? So, look up here real quick. So when I grab an arm and I go and I tap E to rotate it, right? It rotates like this, which is goofed. It does not rotate in the direction of the actual arm. See that? So when I select the root here with my orient tool on, I'm just going to reset the settings and hit apply, it goes all the way down the chain and orients those so that they actually rotate the way of the arm. Do y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
So select the base and then just hit apply and it should do that. Now the flap is not oriented. It doesn't do the tips. So the tips, what we're going to do is orient those. There's a checkbox called orient joint to world. So the flap, check that box and then hit apply, and that will orient it based off the other joints to the world. Now you can see now that flap is going to rotate based off of the right orientation. Okay, that's how you orient joints. It's that easy.
Bro, that is fucking cool.
Now they rotate based off of the direction of the leg rather than some crazy default thing that we had them at. Bam.
Oh, you gotta go to. Oh, it should be let's go to my phone.
Is there a way to move a joint without affecting
The box, the box.
Yes. Watch up here. So if I want to move this joint, Micah just asked a really good question. He goes, is there a way to move a joint without affecting the other joint? The answer to that is yes. So I have this joint chain here. I'm going to grab a joint within the chain, and you go to skin, move skin joints, and that allows you to move it and not affect the other joints.
Nice.
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 Skin, move skin joints.
Skin, move skin joints. I got even more good news. You want to know some more good news? So let me show you guys something else.
Real quick, how do I turn that off?
Huh? So the way you turn it off is you just select something else, then select the same joint again and tap W, and it should move it into move mode again.
Okay.
So here's some good news. So I haven't built my other leg here, all right? I have my leg parented into my root, or whatever this is called, base. The back leg has the same amount of parts as this front leg here. So instead of me building out everything again, I can just select the interleg joint here. Raphael, you should watch this. You're going to like this. And I can click Control D, and then I can move the whole unit. And then I can just go through here and move all of these into place one by one, and then just reorient it, and it should work fine. Does that make sense? So you don't have to duplicate all your joints again. You just go through and move them into place, and then just reorient them. Did everybody understand that? Or am I speaking Chinese over here? Nice.
I might need help on the origins in here.
Yeah. No problem. So joints aren't that hard. You just move them into place and orient them. And then they do what you want them to do. Sorta.
Nice.
Nice.
Looks like a spider.
Mine's made of a spider.
Did you get the one or two done?
Yeah.
I might
You
be
go to select your room. Actually, yeah. I think so. Come on.
Little
Yeah.
skeleton.
Skeleton, orange joint, option box. Turn off the orientable. So then you hit apply.
It says, well, one of my legs has 0 rotation.
Yeah, just
And then when I try to grab this leg, and like I'm trying to get this line right here, parallel, like it's not parallel, but on the same side. Or because when I move it up and down,
theme. Okay. So what I did when I did my second leg is I rotated some of the joints so it doesn't look so. So find the joint that had the rotation on it.
the arrow rotation here, right here.
The one that told you the warning.
This one.
And zero rotations.
Oh.
All those legs, go fast. Just rotate. Then you have to remove your other joints that weren't affected by that. But don't rotate.
I don't think. Will they? So check every single one. And
I mean, yeah, as
Do I
long as
make
if
it-
there's a rotation, I'll zero it out.
do I make all of them? All of them 0?
Yeah, no rotation. And then you'll have to move your joints back into place, possibly. And then you should be able to do the orange joints.
There we go.
There's probably some tool that like zero out the rotation but don't move the joints, but
Nice. That was brutal.
brutal.
When you're done doing the other joint or the other leg, yeah, so naming,
Yeah, like
guys, we're talking about names.
Front
big.
Front left,
I know, like I said
back left,
This is the front.
yeah.
and each joint you could just call it FL1, FL2, FL3, F flap, F claw, stuff like that. Then it would be like BL1, BL2, B flap, B claw, stuff like that. That way when we mirror it, you say mirror everything and then just find and replace L with R, so it'll replace the left with the right. That makes sense.
Yay. It works.
Nice.
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 Ultra nice.
Speaking of mirror, all you need to do to mirror is select the leg, the base of a leg, go to skeleton, mirror joints option box,
Skeleton.
and
mirror.
change it from XY to YZ, and then click apply, and it will mirror it right over.
Nice.
Like that, fam.
Nice. Alright,
Skeleton mirror joints.
where's my base?
And I'm leave the settings up there for y'all. Skeleton mirror
Now
joints.
that looks cool. Nice.
Nice.
I love it.
Brutal.
It looks like a star. Like me.
Like a starfish.
If you do orient joints, can you do it from not the
Yes.
root?
Yes.
So it doesn't mess up the
You can select joints interchain and orient down the
down the
chain,
okay.
which is what you'll need to do for the back leg, is to not mess with the orients that you've already done on the front leg. Does that make sense?
Correct. What were the settings on the orientation?
One more time.
What were the settings on the orient joint options? Just uncheck.
What joint do you have to click to do the mirror?
The leg, top of the leg.
Top of the leg?
Top, when I say top of the leg, this.
Oh, that one.
Orient settings, skeleton, orient joint. So leave them as is when you're doing interchain or root. When you're doing flap, change it to orient to world.
Okay.
Do you have the thing to show the mirror? Okay.
Yeah, mirror is simple. Skeleton, mirror joint option box. You want to change it from XY to YZ, depending on which leg you built. Some people built them on the other side of the grid. You just have to like select your leg and just hit apply, and if it pops it over to the other side, great. If it moves it in some other weird axis, change the setting, undo, and then change the setting and reapply it.
That works.
Nice. Love it when stuff works.
So this orient doesn't seem to
Which one?
be to what I'm.
This doesn't tell me much.
The orient.
What about it?
You want to proceed? 'Cause-
I do.
Yeah. I did the orient on the root
Right.
again because I'm stupid. And it doesn't really.
So hit Control D. Right, because you have the wrong set. I need to change that.
Right, and then I did the ends with this set.
Yep, that's.
So I did this like this, and then hit apply. I'll do it again. Apply. And then did weird
control
stuff.
Sometimes it's goofy. So what we'll do is, this all looks right. The base looks right. But let's go in here, let's grab this leg. Let's just reset your settings here. You have a setting off.
Oh, that's right.
So there's that. And that'll do that. And you come in here, check this box. Now that's that.
I also didn't know how I got the same job.
Yeah, I don't either. It's always so funny.
Hey,
Like,
so Chris,
yeah.
when we move everything from one side to the other leg, are we gonna have to fix the orientation again? or-
Yes.
Does it go back in the root?
Yes. No, not the root. So, and look up here, Raphael. So you can actually do interchain orients. So if you go to the root, what happened is you've oriented one leg, right?
Right.
And then you went down here and you did a different setting for the flap, right? So if you reorient everything from the root, it's going to screw up your flap, right? So what you need to do is when you do the leg, right, instead of doing it from the root and affecting all joints, because it does all joints, you just want to select the leg here and do orient from there, and then go in and then change your, I'll do it here. Let's see, skeleton, orient joint. So you'll uncheck this for the leg, and then when you do the flap, you'll check world and do the flap. Does that make sense?
I got it.
Cool. And then when you mirror, it will mirror all the orients automatically, so you ain't got to reorient those. That's what's so cool about all these mirror settings, is it saves you so much time, fam.
The mirror. Yeah. Can you click on the base? No, like the leg base.
Oh, like here?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them? Or just
You can do both if you want. And then you go to skeleton. Yeah. Object box. Switch that to YZ. Click apply. Try one leg.
It's like, no.
Here we go. Too many.
Think my orientation's off, Chris. I did from how you told me, but
Obviously.
Say again.
So then go through and readjust.
oriented like you
reorient
told me,
area.
but not
Keep
exactly
mirror
aligned with the.
or should I
Right,
move
so
the-
go to your
Yeah.
settings there, go
Yeah.
to File,
Probably not.
or
Like,
whatever that is, yeah, and do Reset.
It should, like if you look
Yeah,
at the foot,
you were off
it's
somehow, so
off by-
click that.
by a bit,
Yeah.
There you go.
but,
Oh,
you
shit,
move
alright,
it-
thanks.
Big deal.
Yeah, but you,
Micah did the same
you
thing.
might
I don't know
orient
how y'all did
it
that.
again, 'cause it's-
Right.
I might say there's more rotations.
See, so Chris,
What?
when I reopened the orient joints, it had the option that I had before you could reset it.
It broke itself.
Broke itself. Yes.
Yeah. One note, you guys, for whatever reason, tools are breaking themselves apparently. So you can always reset your tool by just going to Edit, Reset Settings, and it will reset to the default settings.
Okay, what about the flap we have to do? We click on the flap, and then we
For orientation.
for orientation,
Yeah.
yeah. So you click
Option
on
box.
the flap, and then you turn
Check
that
the
on,
box.
right? And then
Yeah.
you click apply.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check a box.
The flap. The flap is key. You don't want that to go up with. That'd be funny.
You also need to do the tips as well.
Tips.
I don't know if you do that.
The tip as well.
Because it's not. There's nothing underneath it.
That's true. Yeah, that should be awesome.
Everybody good to go? Wow, y'all are ballers.
Hell yeah. Like always.
All right. Save your file. We are actually done with bones, which is insane. How did that even happen? Okay. It's crazy, like, when you look at this crazy-ass structure, like, when we started this morning, we were all like, ugh. You know what I mean? But with the tools make it easy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like you get to
Chris,
manually
Yeah.
orient
can
all
you do me a
these.
favor? Can you just But then from view, I just want to see something here real quick.
See that?
Okay, so it is because the mirrored legs for some reason it was a little off. Like nine. I mean, I'm just like on the
So
right side.
so this is why it's important that you center your character. Like really, really, really center it, because when you build your skeleton and you mirror the skeleton, it's based off the assumption that your character is centered.
Right.
So if you don't center your character, then it's going to mirror your joints. It's going to be like, yeah, I'll do it, but then it won't be to your character. So
I
you
thought
say,
it was just me, but looks like it's on yours too.
really?
Yeah.
Where? What's the problem? I don't see a
The
problem.
right legs here, like if you zoom in, like at the very tip of the feet,
Which side?
the right side.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, that's not a problem. Right, so Raphael brought something to our attention here. Good eye, Raphael. If you look at the feet on the left side here, you can see that they're going down to where they're supposed to be going, which is centered in the tips of the feet, right? But if you look on the right-hand side, which is the side that we mirrored over to, they're off, okay? Which all that means is that the object itself, the legs on that side were not mirrored, okay? So that's a super easy fix. So all you got to do is select those legs, the ones that are off, and we got to delete them, and then we're going to mirror the ones that are correct over, and it should match the joints. Does that make sense?
Nice.
Nice. Right, so go in, delete
rid of
those
the whole leg.
legs, delete those crappy legs.
No. Oh, let me hide the roots. Or the joints.
Right, and then you'll go in and you'll select the other legs that are correct.
Uh-oh, I did something.
And there's a tool, you have to change your drop down to modeling, and there's a tool called Mesh or Edit Mesh Mirror or something. Mesh tools. There's a mirror for meshes. Yeah, there it is. Mesh Mirror option box. There's a ton of settings in there. That didn't do anything. Cut geometry, mirror. I don't know if this can do multiple objects at one time. No idea. Mirror access point.
Where'd you find the mirror options?
This might not work.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I have another solution, but okay, we might have to do this other solution. Yeah, so delete the legs. That's a first for sure. Right. Okay, so I would select all of the parts of the correct legs and group them. So you got all the correct legs, Control G. So we have a leg group, okay?
Do we duplicate the leg group?
We're going to duplicate that, but what we're going to do is we need to move the pivot point of the leg group to the center of the grid. Remember how to do that? You tap Insert on your keyboard, then hold X, and move the pivot point to the center of the grid. Then hit Insert again to set it. Now all we do is we're going to duplicate that group, Control D, and then on your channel box in scale X, you're going to change that to -1. and it will flip the group over to the other side. Huh?
That's cool.
Yeah. It's bananas. And now that should solve our problem, and it does. Thanks to Raphael for figuring that out. Nice.
Oh.
Everybody keep up with that craziness?
Look at the group and how do we flip it?
Oh, how do I?
Until it's not.
It's been duplicated.
Right. So select the group, and then in scale X,
Oh.
change that to -1,
Oh, alright.
and it should
How do I-
should flip it over, fam.
Oh,
Damn, I didn't even know you could do it that way.
I didn't either until a little while ago. First time for everything.
Now we're ready. Should we keep the legs in the group?
So then hit insert.
Um,
and you'll want to.
I don't actually know what we're gonna do with that, to be honest.
You can see the grid.
It's like all the legs are in way. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but
Drag. And then now start again. And then duplicate now.
I don't think
Oh, yeah,
groups.
yeah.
We're gonna take this into Unreal. I don't think groups matter in Unreal, to be honest with you.
Go to
Unreal doesn't recognize Maya groups, so it doesn't matter how
go
we group
to
it.
where it was in reading.
Shut up.
Go to skeleton, the box, the orange one, edit, reset settings, and then try it out. So yeah, apply, and check it real quick. Okay,
All right, everybody with me?
Yeah.
there you go.
Anybody need help?
At the tip here to make sure it's that way and I will. Yep. Break for fun, then apply, close. It should be good. Oh, no, because the orientation should have been fixed first and then you click.
Save your scenes.
Ah,
Yeah, just
say.
remirror.
Kids power brick.
Should be
Everything
good
shuts
there.
off.
Ugh. Is that what you just did? Oh god. Oh god.
That happened to me before.
Horror.
I'm not lying. That happened. To
Oh,
me.
for sure.
I was pissed off.
So I gotta
I
save.
programmed like on last year in our intro to gaming. I programmed so much shit, and then someone kicked the power brick and it all turned off.
Right.
That's why you gotta save
You know,
frequently,
that that's when you were looking for Alicia Keys. You remember? And you like
Yeah, I
went
remember
down there
that.
for Alicia Keys and cake, and I came back with no cake and no Alicia Keys.
Well, Alicia Keys was supposed to be here?
That day, you remember?
No.
She was supposed to.
She was supposed to, and you
Wow.
came back all mad. It was
Cake
fun.
and Alicia Keys, and not one thing happened.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
I went
Okay.
down there for that. and
Sure.
Was you really mad?
That's bananas.
Yeah, he got mad. You remember? Oh,
All right.
you weren't in our class.
All right, fam. Here's what we're gonna do.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't mad.
Open up your
He was bad.
hypergraph hierarchy. We need to skin this thing. We got 30 minutes left in here before I want to get out of here and call it a weekend. And we'll do this next time, or put the controls and go bananas next time. All right. So what I want you to do is we got this crazy group hierarchy in here, in the hypergraph hierarchy. I want you to select all the objects. We're gonna skin this thing. Make sure you save your scenes. File save scene as. We're done with our bones, which is I can't believe we did that in such a quick time.
Can we still rename the bones later after we
Yeah.
Yeah. You,
Okay.
you can rename anything at any time. It don't matter. So select all the objects I have selected up on the projector. It's all of the objects basically and the groups. And we're gonna do two things before we skin. Edit, delete by type history, and modify freeze transformations. Edit, delete by type history,
By time. History. And then
not delete all by type, but just
Modify.
by type.
it says delete by type.
Yes, edit, delete by
Yes.
type history, modify freeze transformations. What that does is it zeroes out all the objects to where Maya thinks that they were created in this position and they're all 0, 0, 0 in translate XYZ, rotate XYZ, scale XYZ.
What?
Say that 3 times fast. Right. So, with all those objects selected, shift select your root and make sure the rigging drop down is on the left, and let's go to skin in the option box for bind skin. Let's go ahead and skin this thing. We're going to uncheck remove unused influences.
Wait. On bind skin.
Yeah, the option box for bind skin. We're going to uncheck. We want to allow multiple bind poses. We want to maintain max influences. We'll color it. That's fine. So just uncheck remove unused influences and then click bind skin.
It's pink.
I think this should be the model.
Yeah.
Just the wireframe thing.
It's like it's in the game. It looks all pink, and you see the bones. Like, whoa, bug. Like,
Right.
It has like a material that like flashes, not flashes, but like
and when
lets
it's
through the fire. You know what I mean?
yeah.
With a different color, and then it turns back.
But he's not the movie right actually. No. It looks like. Can you imagine it in the game look like that? Like honestly,
The fact that
that'd look so weird.
this thing is really way more flawed with the way it's
All right.
flood the whole thing.
So now, this is going to be the easy part. You know what's great about doing hard surface like this, and then having them all separated out like this, is that we just flood these parts to the joints. Super easy. It's going to take us like no time. We're going to be done with this in like 10 minutes. So everybody watch up here. I'm going to do a few parts, and then y'all are going to do them, okay? Just watch up here real quick. So I'm going to click the claw. The claw. Actually, I'm going to go to my shading and turn on X-ray joints so I can see the joints and the wireframe. And I'm going to click the claw, and I'm going to go to rigging and double click my paint skin weights tool. As I select different joints, I can see they light up blue. I'm going to cycle through until I find the claw,
Oh, that's not good.
which is right there. See, it highlights blue, and then I'm just going to click flood. That's it. Then I'm going to click the next joint, double click my paint skin weights tool, find that joint, it's the next one up. No, it's the next one up. Then I hit flood. See that? I'm just gonna go through and flood the different parts. Let's do the flap. Double click my paint skin waste tool. Let's find that flap wherever it's at. There it is. Flood. That's it. I'm just flooding these to the joints. That's it. You're gonna flood everything, every single thing on here. Flood the turret.
Flood the turret to the base.
No, flood the turret to the turret.
The turret to the turret, but I want to flood it to the base.
No.
You're wrong.
Incorrect.
It's mine, so I get to.
This is true.
Listen,
You
when
can.
you have your own game company,
Damn, tell him, Raphael.
This is that's just mean.
okay?
Flood the base.
Okay. Okay.
Bananas. When you do one leg, you're going to want to test it out. So just click your move tool, and you're just going to grab the joints and rotate those joints. And guys, look up here real quick. When you're done, you want to test it out like this, and just go down the chain and test it out. Make sure it's rotating the way it's supposed to rotate. Nice.
that's where you flex the flag. That's what that goes for.
Tell him, Raphael. Once you do one leg, you kind of like get pretty quick at it, to be honest. To be honest with you, flooding is so fast. Instead of trying to mirror over the weights, it's probably faster just to flood them. Maybe. Oh, actually. Oh man, it actually may be faster to mirror. I'm gonna find out right
Mirror the
now.
weights.
Yeah. If you do, I'm gonna test it out. This may work. Oh man, that worked. That's crazy. All right. What the? No freaking way. Oh, yeah.
Did it not work?
No. Damn. Doesn't work. You gotta just flood it. It's faster just to flood them all.
Chris,
Yeah.
what do you do with the one that's connected to the base?
Which one? What?
The leg joint that's connected to the
This?
base. Yes. What do you flood to that?
You flood the little small thing.
This.
That.
So you flood this, floods this. This floods this. Did you do them like in reverse?
Yeah, I did.
Nice. Gotta go back and redo that shit. Yeah, it's better to work down a leg than to work up a leg. It makes more sense, like, from a brain standpoint. Make sure you save your scenes along the way.
So
So what do you do with the tip of the foot then?
pick a leg.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And then select the model part. Click on the word window. So once you have one of these selected, double click on your paint sequence. And then cycle through all of those so you find this
The base?
this white base.
That's what you want. This one.
Yeah. So then it gets and normally it'll be set to 1, right? Which is what you want. And then you would, what I do is I close that and hit W, click on the next one.
So this one goes to the base.
Or no, it would be this one.
This one?
So you just would punch it.
Okay.
Figure out which one you want it to affect.
Okay.
That particular piece.
So a quick way to test your legs, I can show you this, guys. A quick way to test all your legs at one time would be to shift select all of the leg bases, and you can rotate like this.
Nice.
Then if you tap down on your arrow, it selects all the ones down the chain, and you can rotate those, then select down again on your arrow, rotate those, down again on your arrow, rotate those, down, and you can see I found an error.
We're at the plot.
Yep, my flap, I found an error in the flap. That's a quick way to like just test real quick.
Can't quite set that yet, but
Yep.
When I rotate all my legs, they are really long.
Right.
Is it because of the orients, or is it, they're not big?
Show me.
So I selected all the bases. Orients are off. And then these fixed after.
Yeah, okay. You can orient it. That's the way to do it, to be honest with you. It's like the entire thing.
Yeah, mine's done.
Some skeleton.
The body onto the base, but the thing is, there's actually some polygons inside of the base, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things we want
So
to
you
do
gotta go into
is
SFS or you can take it.
go to bind petals. Once in the pop effect. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they were wrong. It's just they didn't
Oh,
repeated it. It
right.
seemed weird.
Yeah, right. So, so your rotating settings are based off of object. So let's see, that is, it might have looked weird.
That would be better. For some reason, you grouped yours in a weird way.
Right. So, in your joints, there is off the checkbox here, you can mirror based off of behavioral orientation.
How was the orientation?
I mean, mine, I did behavior and it worked fine. It's not a big deal. There's never going to be a scenario where you're going to do this. So
As long as they're.
okay.
Chris,
What?
I was taking a look here and like the base isn't exactly oriented how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
The base and the root.
Right. So you can manually fix orientations, by the way. Yeah, mine's doing the same thing. So if your base and your
I just like looking at it. Even though it doesn't do what I want it to do, but it just looks pretty cool. I didn't know that was gonna be a.
yeah. So watch this, Raphael.
The flooding part still pisses me, but yeah.
So if you see this
I
little
have
arrow
no
here,
problem with the flooding.
expand that, then click this little thing, then click the question mark, and when you select the joint, Hold on.
Look at everything here. It's all.
You can select
I think it's-
the joint
they're
orient,
grouped. You can see that they're grouped.
and I'll do this in a side view,
It's weird.
and you
This
can
is what's
actually
confusing.
Oh, I think
manually
same
rotate
thing, or-
that.
Because when I
Probably-
group them.
Does that make sense?
Can you show me how to do it again? Expand and...
Yes. I'll show you again.
it
All
could
right,
have
I'll
what
do
I
it on the
wanted to do.
thingy.
It's just it moves.
So you click the
So-
joint,
Okay.
Click your.
then click the
there.
up here the thing next to it, which is select by component type.
So when you.
Then you expand the little arrow to the right of that and click the
when
question
you
mark.
Mirror
Alright.
your joints.
Then when you select,
Your naming
then you can
convention
select the
on
actual
that
joint orient.
Was probably not the best. I switched mine to what he was doing, and so it created these weird naming conventions here.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Well, yeah, the name.
But what you can do is, which one is selected? Which joint or the?
A joint. Not the body parts.
That's weird.
Instead
Yeah, the
of
things that are
looking for
actually
it
inside
like
of the
this,
chip.
go through. There's one. But it's not. Oh, that's weird.
It selects the whole thing. Cause I think it's grouped.
It's not. See, there's the rest of it. So it's something's not right. I don't know.
It might be like my error, but
Maybe, but
I might have screwed
yeah,
something up.
something happened.
But at least all I wanted to do was that. That's all I want. Even though it does that, I just
Oh,
wanted
I
to
can
do that.
show you how to fix that. So if you.
Did you get that, Raphael?
select
Yeah.
this,
Man, mine's doing some weird stuff, but
select base here, like that.
Oh, nice.
nice.
I like that. Mission accomplished. What I wanted to do really is to grab the whole thing and move it up, down, while the feet are still intact. So.
Oh yeah, you need IK for that.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be set.
But at least I got that to work. That's what I wanted to work for to happen.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. This is hard but fun at the same time. How'd you get that too? Because whenever I turned mine, it just like, just like,
What?
how did you?
Oh yeah, so select the turret, and then go to your skin weights.
You flooded.
Flood into the turret. Yeah.
And then
Now it should work.
so you basically flood everything to itself.
Right.
Okay.
No. If you think about, so, here, I'll show you. So you want to flood this one using this point.
Okay.
This part to this one. So
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's
Yeah.
just I can't do it because
your something about your
that's the thing about.
thing is
Because I understand what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So I saw my list. I was like, wait a minute.
something's wrong.
Yeah. Because I did this part to that part just fine, but
Right. But then the rest is
the rest is like it's all grouped. It looks like it's grouped.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but it doesn't matter.
Nice. Guys, I'm going to give you a little, we're going to stop here today. I'm going to give you a little quick preview of what we're going to do next time. So we're going to set up controls for the legs. I already set up the controls real quick for these legs. It's definitely like complicated, and I did it really quick because I know what I'm doing. But basically, like the leg will be controlled by a top controller here, and then you'll be able to grab the foot and actually pull it out like
Oh,
this.
cool.
And then the knee will aim
What
on the
about the
knee.
flap?
We might. I haven't done the flap yet.
You gotta do the flap.
Basically, it moves like this,
Nice.
I like that.
and then.
So if
this.
you move the body, what happens?
I haven't set up the body yet. I've
Oh,
just
okay.
set up the leg. So just that took me 10 minutes.
Nice.
You share your file with those, right?
Still trying to get the damn
I
root.
kind of want to mess with that.
What's that?
You're gonna
And actually, I didn't do this right, to be honest with you.
Not nice.
This one is supposed to move the actual thingy here. We'll have to. Yeah, I didn't do that right, but.
Hey, now you know.
Anyway, that's what we're gonna do next time.
Cool.
Cool.
Did
Good,
you
good work
actually set
today.
the
Y'all kept up.
orientation on
I'm
the
proud of
base?
you. What's that?
Did you actually set the orientation on the base? Because mine keeps doing freaky things.
Yeah, man. I'll. Hey, what's up, Chris? Yeah, let me stop this video. Hang on.